Hi everyone, I'm Sophia, and today I'm going to be showing you the exact steps that I took to vibe code a mini app from scratch. I'll show you exactly what I do, and so if you want, you can follow along on GitHub. My GitHub is Sodofi, S-O-D-O-F-I, and I have the exact prompts that I used to vibe code everything on my GitHub, so go check it out. If you're completely new here, I'll show you what I'm trying to do. So the end result should be a mini app that's on chain, meaning I'm actually doing stuff with the blockchain. So here's an example of something that I completely vibe coded from scratch. So this is no developer background, no experience needed. You can do this with just prompt engineering. So here's a little quiz that I have, and then you can pay a Celo to start, and it connects to your Farcaster wallet. It actually processes the transaction, and then once you do that, you can start your quiz. So the on-chain interaction that I'm doing here is a payment gate. So something is gated by a payment. You have to pay to get access to the quiz or get access to something. So that's what it is. It's super simple. High level, what I will be doing is I'll be using, actually, let me update this as I go. So I'll be starting off with Claude to help me refine my prompts. I'll be using V0 to actually make the front end. And then I'll be using Cursor to actually build the final app. And then I'll use Farcaster to get users and testing. Little update to that. And so I'll update all the steps as I'm doing it on this GitHub, like I mentioned. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I do is you really want to ensure that you have a strong prompt when you're creating whatever you're creating. And one of the best ways to do that is to have an idea, a slight idea, know what you want to build, and have a product spec. But doing that from complete scratch can be a little tough. So typically what I do is I just have like a light idea, and I asked Claude to make it into a product spec for me. So right now I say, I want you to create a lightweight IQ quiz contest. The quiz should be timed, only about 10 questions. At the end, you'll have a button that says C-score, and it will generate the IQ quiz score. And then no need to build anything. I just want you to create a detailed prompt. So this is what I'll ask it to do. So essentially what is happening is, I'll show you so you can see my prompt, and now it's creating an actual IQ quiz contest for me, and it's going through all of that, how that works. So this makes my actual product brief, which I love. They're a lot more in-depth than I could do on my own. And all you kind of have to do is like kind of have the rough idea. So my rough idea so far was just an IQ quiz contest or quiz. So it's just an IQ quiz, and then at the end, they're gonna say C-score, and they're gonna have to pay to actually see the score that they have. So I'm gonna pause it for a second as it finishes generating and prompting. Actually, it's all done now. All right, copy that. Now I'm gonna hop on to V0, and it's gonna say, what can I help you build today? I like V0 because I just think the actual UI that it generates, to me, is one of my favorites. I've used a few other ones, and sometimes I just feel like the UI looks a little clunky. I'm really big into UI, and so one of the best life hacks that you can do when prompt engineering is to say, make sure the UI is in brutalist style or modern style, and then even like use Claude, use ChatGPT to say, what are specific prompts? What do I need to say to make sure that my UI looks like a certain style or looks like a specific Figma? You can even drop in a Figma link, a Figma design. But that's one of the best ways so your app doesn't have that look of a vibe coded app. I hate that look. I think it's so obvious when it like looks very like, oh, you just used a replit template or you just made it unlovable. I hate when it has that look. And so just with a little bit of prompt engineering, you can make it so it looks really unique, and maybe unique to your style. Maybe you can have a specific design style that you like your apps to look like. But yeah, that's definitely one of my biggest advice. But yeah, I really like V0. It uses a bunch of shad CN components, which I just think are really, really nice. And then I'll be doing everything on the Celo blockchain, and Celo has its own component library called Composer Kit that also has its own MCP. And I'll do another tutorial about talking all of that. But all of those are also based with the shad CN components, which makes it really good to use V0 because they're all kind of the same style, same like using, all the same CSS, like internal blocks, all of that stuff. So it's all kind of there, all for you. All right, I think I'm gonna pause for a second as this just finishes. Okay, I'm back. This is what it generated for me. I'm gonna go through this and then figure out some things that I wanna change. Like for example, this initial spot, it's just too long. It's gonna be a tiny like mini app. As you can see, it's gonna look something similar to this quiz. So I wanna make sure that it's really simple. So I'm gonna go, let me move myself here. I'm gonna go, okay, IQ quiz, start IQ quiz. And it's going to ask me a series of questions. So it's gonna begin the quiz. Okay, so I'm just gonna do this quiz really fast. Oh my goodness, I did not know. I'm just gonna guess. I don't know. Sorry, okay, what am I, parent? Okay. Oh my God, I cannot. Very superior. All right, good enough. All right, so it gives me a quiz. It goes like this, and then it's gonna say all these results. See detailed analysis. It's gonna tell me what I did well, all this different stuff. Okay, it's overall pretty good. I think for a normal app, this is great, but this is for a mini app. So I think the only feedback I'm gonna give it is I'm gonna tell it, I want you to simplify the initial start IQ quiz test. This is supposed to be mobile compatible. Okay, that's a good note. I'm gonna just update myself for a note for myself in the future that this should be mobile compatible. So no, make this mobile compatible and responsive, because we want it to be like a mobile mini app. So that's gonna really change up how we want like the whole UI and stuff to look. So that's something we wanna mention. This is supposed to be made compatible and look good on mobile. Make sure the UI and UX is compatible for that, and take out unnecessary wording in the initial screens to make it look good on mobile. This is an awful prompt. But just for the sake of time, because I'm just doing this, for the sake of time, this is fine. It doesn't really matter because we're just trying to make a little mini app and on-chain. That's the whole point of this. It doesn't have to be perfect. But I hate when the UX doesn't look good. So I'm just gonna do a little fix. All right, this is my new quiz that I have. So it says start quiz, and then this UI already looks so much better. Oh my God, okay, I don't wanna do this whole thing again. So I'm just gonna skip this, I'm gonna think it looks all good, and now I'm going to publish it. So what I'll do is I'll say download code here, and I'll actually get this code base. And so I can run this command in my console, and I'll get all of this code, all of this raw code that is generated here. I'll officially get that in my console, in my terminals. All right, so what I just did is I opened up Cursor, and now I'm in my terminal, and I'm gonna paste that prompt that we were just given. And so I got that exact code. What is my project name? IQ test V1. I'm gonna call it that, or V2, because I think it's my second time I did this. So it's gonna make a Next.js project for me, and it's inside the folder that I want it to be. So I'm just pasting the exact thing that I get straight from V0, and it's gonna make a new Next.js project. Okay, it's gonna ask me a few questions, neutral, writing components.json, and then I'm gonna use this, installs dependencies. Would you like to overwrite? Yes, I'm gonna overwrite everything. And then it says created 12 files. It's great. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually in my code. So I open that up, and now you can actually see this. So I'm saying npm just gonna run the code. And if you are completely new, you've never done this before, open up that README that it'll generate, and it'll tell you exactly step by step what to launch in your terminal. So just do that, and I'm gonna test it out and see what it looks like and make sure it all runs correctly. So now it's opening up a local host, and as you can see, I got my app. It's all here. I can start my quiz. I can do all my fun stuff, and you know how it is. So yeah, so now I have it all here. So now I'm gonna go back to my actual V0, and as I'm here, what I'm going to do is I want to make sure that I'm on Claude, and I also want to make sure that that it has context and history. So a lot of the actual Claude and current models for vibe coding don't know how to do stuff on chain, so you have to really prompt it so it knows exactly what to do, exactly what tools to use, how to connect on chain, so it doesn't just hallucinate. So what I am doing to connect on chain is I have docs that I added with called mini apps, which has all of that context in there. So if you're in Cursor, what you're going to do, I already added this doc, but you can go here, you can add docs, you can say add new doc, and then you can actually just like paste in some specific code that you want to do. So I pasted in the Farcaster mini apps actual doc, and they have an LLM file that you can do, and you can also just paste that in. And so that gives it the right context, so it knows what a Farcaster mini app is and how to actually deploy one. But I already did that, so I'm not gonna add that for this case, but I already have that there for context. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is if you open up mini apps Farcaster docs, it has a built-in ChatGPT already there. Again, one of the things that I really like to do is I like asking ChatGPT or something for a prompt for me instead of just like fully raw dogging my prompt and writing it. I like to get feedback on how do I make my prompt as successful as possible before just jumping in and trying to paste it into Cursor and code. I just find that I get like a much better stuff. So let me start off. I think I already started this off. So I'm gonna say, I want you to create a prompt to Cursor Claude 3.5 to explain it how to set up a WAGMI connector and do this. The desired goal I have is that once the user completes the test, when they hit C-score, they're gonna have to pay 0.01 Celo to see their IQ score. So I'm gonna tell it that. And I'm using WAGMI connector because sometimes I realized that it might use Ethers.js, it might use something else to actually connect on chain. And I like WAGMI because Farcaster has most wallets, in my opinion, most wallets have an actual WAGMI connector. WAGMI is just a way to interact on chain, interact directly. And it works with the React framework. I think it works with some other coding frameworks as well too. But I really like it, and I like to specifically say use WAGMI every time I do things because that just makes it so it doesn't hallucinate as much. All right, so here is what it gives me. Taking a look at this prompt, it's not great because my first thought is it has nothing about Farcaster in it, and I want to make sure that it's using the Farcaster SDK to actually build this out. So I'm going to update the prompt a little bit to say it that specifically. So update. So I'm going to say, I want you to specifically mention that the app should use the Farcaster SDK and that it should be compatible with a mini app the Farcaster mini app with a Farcaster file. The goal is that with just one prompt, my IQ test app can have on-chain compatibility, work in the Farcaster wallet, and can be a live Farcaster mini app. Okay, let's see what the prompt is now, and then I just kind of go back and forth until the prompt is really good. If I'm honest, I would definitely recommend to go through the actual documentation, just get an overview of like what exactly it is that you're doing, and then as as it's actually like telling you what to do. Like here it's going to say like getting started. Oh, you should make sure that you have like all of these SDKs installed. And so if your prompt doesn't say anything about the SDK, that's how you can tell it's a bad prompt. And so you're going to keep iterating and updating until the prompt looks really good. So yes, you guys blah blah. Yeah, this looks really good. Great. This prompt is going to be used inside of Cursor on the Claude 3.5 model. It already has my IQ test app inside and has all of that context. Your goal is to create a prompt so that it knows how to convert it into a Farcaster mini app with Onchain with a payment gate. Okay, it's kind of a little bit back and forth, but I'll update all of this inside of my GitHub so you can follow along with all of these prompts directly. Perfect. This is the following. Yes. This is great, but actually no, it already has the SDK in there. Okay, cool. Let's just, for the sake of time, and then I'm now just gonna jump back in here and I am going to paste it in, and says, if you are not 100% certain about any of the actions above, please ask me directly. Please ask me directly. Make sure you are 100% confident with every action you do. Cool. Let's see. All right. I like to just say that because sometimes I like having a discussion with it so that it asks me information instead of just going rogue. But yeah, okay, this looks good. Something that you can do to just triple check is when it tells you what to install, I'll like to just like go to the docs directly. So it says Frame SDK, Farcaster, like this is what it's telling me to install. I'll go to my, to Farcaster and just double check, is that the right name? Is that the right stuff? I find even like with WagMe, it'll use some hooks that aren't like, is the old version, not the current version. So that's why it's really good to just like double check it with the updated docs and make sure, because some of these models are out to date, don't have the latest code. Blockchain is super new, and coding on chain is super new. So you have to just like double check all the time that you're going in the right direction. All right, so now it's doing all that. I'm gonna pause it again until everything loads, but I won't move on to any next steps with it. Okay, looks like all my dependencies were installed, and now it's gonna say, now that we have necessary dependencies installed, let's create a config file for WagMe to handle Celo blockchain interactions. I'll create a new file in the library directory, so let's see it. I'm gonna accept it. Yep, looks good to me. And then looks good. It's gonna create a Farcaster manifest file. That is good too. Accept. A payment gate component. Yep, that's good too. Accept. I'm kind of just accepting these all. Let me fix the payment gate component. Yeah, it's gonna be, yep, okay. Notice that we need to install a query for the wallet provider. I don't really know what that is. Let me just look at what that is. I am gonna accept it all, but typically I go a little bit slower and I actually just look up WagMe and I actually look up what are, oh yeah, TanStack query. That looks like the thing that we just have to install. Okay, and then I'm also just going to make sure that all of this create config, that's pretty normal, what it needs to do, and then use account, it's using the right hooks. This is the name of all the right hooks. Yep, that looks good to me. Pretty sure Claude does have context all about WagMe because that's like kind of older, but if Actually, you know what? Now I'm thinking about it. I'm gonna actually add WAGME as docs for it to have context about WAGME React docs so that it also just double checks that everything is working perfectly. So we have it all there. Gonna run that all. Great. All right, actually, now that I got that idea, I don't know why I didn't do that before, adding WAGME as docs just for it, so it has that context. I'm calling it WAGME React. All right, you should do that first and then do that same prompt. But I think it should still work, but keep adding all your docs as you do stuff. Docs, WAGME React, great. That is the best thing to do when you're vibe coding, is just make sure that has all the right context so it doesn't go rogue. All right, to complete the setup, I need you to provide your Celo wallet address, confirm if you want to keep the payment amount 0 in Celo. Once you provide the details, I'll help you update the wallet address configuration, test the stuff. All right, I'm just gonna do that manually in the config. All right, it says your Celo wallet address where you want to receive the payments. So I'm gonna say this is the Celo wallet address where I want to receive payments. And then I'm gonna say confirmed that 0.1 Celo is the right amount. All right, so now it should be updating my config file, and that is inside of where is that? That is in the WAGME. Okay, yeah, it's in my library. WAGME.ts config file. Now I have my actual wallet address. Double check that it's the right one. Sometimes it can hallucinate and not do the exact same thing. So I would just go through and you paste it yourself and just confirm that that is the right one. Okay, now it says the next step that we'll finally do is going to use WAGME for wallet interactions, Farcaster frame connector. To complete the setup, you'll need to generate a proper Farcaster manifest file with your verification. You can do this by going to Farcaster, fill in your app details, get a signed verification, replace the current Farcaster JSON with the generated one, and then deploy your app to a domain that matches the one you'll use in your Farcaster manifest. All right, let's go ahead and before I jump into all of that though, I'm going to retest my app. And just see if it still is working, because sometimes it just doesn't fully work anymore. So it should be a normal app and it should work. Cross my fingers. This is always the all right, I'm getting a bunch of errors when I try running everything. So let me just paste that to chat, and then I'm getting these errors when I try to run my app. Please ensure that the app works as expected when I run my app. So you'll want to make sure that it still works in your local environment, and keep testing it. What I should have been doing is after every single code that it deploys, I'll test it and test it and test it, make sure that it's keep working before I add a new feature. I did not do that, and now I have to debug everything, which is always the worst with vibe coding. This is always the actual worst part, but it's not a super complicated app, so I'm hoping that it should be fine, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm gonna run this command, all of this stuff, and let's see if it's working. Looks like my local host is still not functioning well. So, oh, there we go. Yay. Okay, let me restart this. Test. Okay, looks like it is working. But I just want to test to see if the actual quiz part, I don't know why that's not working. We can test. So I'm just gonna click random stuff to go ahead and get to the actual quiz part, the actual on-chain part, and test if that part is working. Okay, so now it's gonna say connect wallet to see score. And I'm gonna inspect to see my console. What happens when I connect wallet? The next step is, because my connect wallet wasn't automatically connecting my wallet, what I do is I look up connect wallet so I can find it, and now I can find that this is inside the payment gate component, but you can also just go through here. And if you're completely new to app development and you're like no idea what this is, I would recommend just asking Claude to just like give you an overview of what everything is, what are the different components, how it all works. It's one of the best ways to just like quickly learn and figure out what all is happening. All right, so here's the connect wallet, and then it says on click there's a connector that actually happens, and it's supposed to pull up my connect wallet. So let me ask, when I click connect wallet, it doesn't automatically get my wallet. Okay, I'm gonna say next I want to publish this as a Farcaster frame, Farcaster mini app. Please list out all the specific steps I need to do. You can also just look at the docs and see it directly. So, but I kind of like just doing that. You can also just read it here. It's going to tell you exactly what to do, how to get a domain, how to do everything. But I think it's fun this way. All right, so first it's going to say prepare your domain, get a domain, create an app, blah, 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 all of this stuff. All right, so I am going to create a domain using Versal. Actually, what I realized I should have done earlier is create a GitHub repo and be saving everything to GitHub so you can go back. That is number one step. I apologize for not doing that. Future tutorials, I will do that early on. But right now, I'm just gonna make a new GitHub project. Okay, so now when I actually open this up, it's gonna have all of my code here. And then if you check it out on here, it's all of the same code. So you can say like git status, did I add everything? Yep, and so this is all up to date. And if you're completely new with GitHub and you're not comfortable working within the terminal to like do all your Git stuff, one, use this cursor and it'll tell you exactly step by step what to do. Or you can go to download GitHub Desktop and you can just do all no code, commit, all of that stuff if you're not comfortable doing it yourself. All right, so now that it's all here, what I'm gonna do is actually go to Versal. And I'm gonna say add a new project, and then do import from GitHub, project name, will be the same one. And okay, it's ready to deploy. I'm gonna say deploy and wait for it to Okay, it actually, when I tried to deploy on Versal, I actually got an error. So it's gonna tell me to do npm run build so I can actually figure out what my error is. So make sure that you can build your site before actually trying to deploy it. So that's what I'll do first. It's gonna have all these errors and then I'm gonna paste it back into Cursor. It's gonna fix it for me. I will say sometimes vibe coding can absolutely suck when you get all these errors because sometimes I can't debug and I have to restart from scratch. But hopefully this works. Help me fix these errors so that I can build. Okay, so it says it fixed all the errors. Let me run it again and see if it's working. So you should run this before you actually try to deploy on Versal. I don't know how to say it. Oh, look, looks like it's working well. So now I'm gonna go back here and I'm gonna say redeploy. It says deployment created successfully. Yay! Now it's gonna generate a URL for me, or a domain for me. And so while that's kind of getting ready to actually load, and I'm gonna go to Farcaster, click on publishing your app and see what it's needed. So I'm gonna need to choose a domain, host a manifest file. I'm already doing that. And then yay, it looks like go here, create a signed account object, ta-da, and that looks good. All right, so go to my developers, go to manifest tool, sign and publish. I'm gonna exit out of here. And I'm gonna paste my domain into this manifest tool that I get from here. It's not ready yet, so I'm gonna pause it and then wait until it's ready and I'll get the domain. Okay, it's done building. This is the domain I got, IQ test, yay! Let me check it out on Farcaster, see what it looks like. To associate with account, you could do account association. Claim my manifest is invalid. Okay, this is good to know. Let me go back to here and go to my public, well-known manifest thing. When I try to add it to Farcaster, I get the following error. Please help me fix this. Yes, is claim. Yeah, this is not the right manifest file. It should look something. Farcaster, there are a few records missing your manifest file. It should look something like that. Yep, that's correct. And you can actually check it by going on the Farcaster docs and just double checking and referencing. So as you can see, like this is not totally perfect. You have the icon file. Oh, it says I need to have an icon file too. I find that it's like not great. Let's see what these icon files, like these don't totally work. These aren't really great. So I'm gonna just like generate a quick one on Figma really fast for me. And then do that. Let's see, icon, what is this? Let me add it all, see how it works. Run command, accept it all. Let's see what this looks like. Icon SVG. It's doing a bunch of SVGs. I typically don't always do them because they don't always work perfectly, but we'll see. Let's test it out. Get status. Let's see. I have to add. I'm gonna add all these files. Fixing files. All right, let's go redeploy this. Check it all out. Look at my logs. I have this fixing manifest file, so it's gonna redeploy, and then I'm gonna take my domain, paste it back in, see if it's ready, and keep doing that back and forth. This is truly, like, I think full vibe coding, which is just reprompting, but if you actually want to do this a lot more bug-free, I would just take 5 minutes to read the docs, double check that you're doing it right, and then actually just go through, see if you're doing it correctly. So for example, I think it's going to get stuck on this image. So I would probably just generate my own image and then paste it and fix it like that instead of trying to prompt it back and forth. In ChatGPT, I'm actually going to it and I'm going to ask it to generate 2 images for me for an IQ test. And this, I'll be honest, I typically hate the ChatGPT generated images. I feel like it's so obvious that you do them. So I would actually use Canva, but I'm trying to just be like super speedy and show you how I do it like very, very fast. I think Canva always makes it look so much cuter and nicer. Actually, this is not too bad. And then you can actually go here, and I think it'll tell you the exact size that you actually need it to be. Will it tell you the size of your splash screens? Yep, so it's gonna say portrait. It's gonna be this size, so you can actually tell it this size. I said rectangle and square because I was lazy. But yeah, that looks good. Now I'm gonna add that image. I'm gonna paste it here. Actually, what you should do is you should paste icon URL and then here. So you should take this, both of these two, and then paste it in ChatGPT and be like, this is what I need. But this looks good enough for me. So now I have icon, which is gonna be here, and then image, which is gonna be a 2x3. So those look good enough. So now going back to my Farcaster JSON manifest file, it's not reading correctly. So clearly there's something wrong here. So I'm going to say, these are the issues I have. I want you to use the icon PNG file and the image.png file in the Farcaster.json file. Please reference that. I'm going to take out the WAGMI for context because that might be just too much information for it. Please reference the mini apps, and then I'm going to say public, well-known. Yep. Okay, please reference the mini apps documentation to create the manifest file with 100% certainty that it's accurate. If you don't have 100% certainty, ask me for any information you will need. Okay. In general, I like to just like keep telling it to ask me and ask me if it needs more information and more stuff. We have these image files, blah, blah. The icon.png is in my public folder that are in my public folder. My apps domain is, it doesn't have my apps domain. That's a great point. Is this, and then do you have a Farcaster account? And yes, I have a Farcaster account. Okay, I'm gonna set this all. It says it needs my Farcaster username, but I'd rather use the manifest tool to get my manifest thing instead of ask this because I don't exactly know how it's doing it all. This looks a lot more correct. Frame metadata, and this is in layout. Yeah, it does need that in the main layout. It needs this frame metadata to get a little preview. Add the account association. Ta-da. All right. Git commit. I'm going to say adding images to manifest file, git push, and it's going. Well, I need this to sign and publish my app. Let's just preview it while I'm like looking. Oops. Gonna take. Yay, you can start your quiz, take all your things, so you can see it all, what it looks like in here, which is so cute. And then let's test it out. Pay one Celo, it's gonna ask you, confirm. Oh my God, it looks so cute, it looks so good. You can pay, you can get all your stuff. Looks great, get your answers, below average, not looking great, but yay, all of that works, just the publishing is not working great. So we're almost there, we're so close. Now it's here, and now it does look like it's working. So I'm gonna go to the very bottom, I'm gonna say claim ownership. I'm on my laptop right now, so I'm gonna have to scan this QR code to actually claim ownership. Open this up, and now I will test it, see if it works. Sign in as Sophia, signature sent, continue on desktop. Yay! All right, now I have it, and now I have this account association thing. I'm gonna go back here, paste my account association, and see if it's gonna add it for me into my Farcaster thing. Yay! I could easily have just done that myself, but for vibe coding, that's the whole point, right? It's gonna do that for other stuff. So I'm pretty sure I don't need that. Okay, let me test to see if that's working. Added Farcaster Association. Okay, last try. Let's go back, test this out, check out, you know, the whole drill. Going back and forth, back and forth. It's building my latest thing and get that domain, get my manifest file showing, and see if it works. All right, and you know the drill. Take our link, copy it up, go back to our manifest tool, go to our preview tool, and let's see it. Oh wait, let's check our embed tool. And that's how it looks. So everything looks like it's all check, 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 check. And then finally our manifest tool. Yay! Manifest valid. Woohoo! Okay, so now what you can do is if you're on your phone, you can go to Farcaster and you can go to mini apps and you can actually just open up IQ test by Sophia, and you can find it. Let's see, look at this. My mini apps. Okay, so now it's fully working now that it's published and my account association is officially part of it. You can see it actually pops up in my mini apps, and then if you want, you can even like on Farcaster, you can like search up IQ test and actually find your mini app, find my little mini app if you want to do it. So I'm gonna copy this link and I'm gonna actually like paste. I'm gonna make a new cast. I'm gonna say, test out my, see your IQ, let's say, how smart are you? Smart are you? Get your IQ score. See your, oh man. I'm literally, see your IQ score. Little eyes, I'll be like little. And then you can actually start the test and you can see how smart you are. So start quiz, begin quiz. I'm gonna say, oh yeah, let's see, doing all this fun stuff. Now I feel like I should be better at this because it's the same questions every single time. Mary blah blah blah, I don't know. Let's see what my IQ test is. Confirm. Very superior. I have a 130, 8 out of 10. We'll see what that is. What does that IQ test mean? All right, if I do next steps, what you should always do is at the end, you can say share your score. There should be a share your score here. And then when you click share your score, you should be able to generate a new frame where you can share your score and then it helps it go viral. So that would be the next step I would add. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just gonna end it here, and that is all that we have today. So thank you for watching this video about how to get started vibe coding your first mini app. And I'll be testing out a bunch of different tools and telling you what I think and my overall takeaways. But yeah, yay! Thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.